Hello, boys and girls. Today we're going to talk about menstruation, a special time in any young lady's life. So special that as an almost 50-year-old woman, I decided to break out my artificial lighting today, which is behind or in front of me and behind you. Special, special times. So Aunt Flo decided to visit. This is my first period since my surgery, which men may think, well, what's the big deal? And then women will say, oh my, you're almost 50, you're still getting your periods. That means, yes, I've not been in the throes of menopause yet, but I am quite in the midst of perimenopause. So that's pretty much what we're going to be talking about today. And I encourage those of you that are male to listen and don't tune out just because I say the word menstruation. Because when men say, oh, you're so sensitive or whatever, there are pros and cons to these kinds of things that women go through and men do not. So that is what I'm going to focus on today. And this whale. Also going to bring up this whale about my morning and how my day was thwarted because of my Aunt Flo. Which, if you don't know the reference to Aunt Flo is a nice way of saying you got your period. So, I got my period a couple days ago, and that was the first time that I've had my period, like I said, since my surgery. So, with anyone, I feel like you carry most of your a lot of stuff in your gut. Like, you know, when someone says I have a gut feeling about something, you know, if your stomach is upset, it could mean that you're nervous, or if your stomach is totally calm, that means you're at ease, or whatever it is. Same thing can be said for women and their periods. Why I chose to sit on a yoga ball today, I have no idea. Maybe I'll blame it on my Aunt Flo. So I got my period a couple days ago. Just to give you an overview, again, I am almost 50. I'll be 50 this year. Have not hit menopause, but have probably been in perimenopause for a few years, maybe 3 or 4 years or so. I'm not done on that whole process. I was a late bloomer, which has also its pros and cons. But that also means, well, most of my friends are like, woohoo, my period's over. And I'm like, me, not so much. But this period has been extra special because I've never had surgery before, well, except oral surgery. And let's just say I have a lot of blood loss going on. This is most definitely the heaviest period I've ever had in my entire life. And part of perimenopause is you can get your period on a Tuesday, it can come back on a Thursday. You could have it for a week. You could have it for a day. You can have it for an hour, and then it would go away. Oh, that rhymes. It's like Dr. Seuss for menstruation. You could skip your period for 3 months, and then you can get your period every week. You just don't know what's going to end up happening, and welcome to the throes of perimenopause. That's just how things roll. So you throw in a mastectomy into all of that when your body is really thrown off and your body's never had surgery before, and your body's like, what the heck is going on? And you're like, surprise, your best friend's sisters are gone. And I feel like my uterus is telling my body, what the heck, where are my little sister friends? And it's rebelling against me. This is my little fairy tale cartoon land. I just finished watching Monsters University. That seems so random, but maybe it's why I'm sing-songy. I thought Monsters Incorporated was a pretty funny movie. I like when there's like adult humor inside of kids' movies. Yeah, I just finished watching that movie because I needed something lighthearted to watch. And I guess that's why I'm a little singy-songy today and decided to sit on a yoga ball, which is probably a really stupid idea because I feel dizzy just sitting on it. All the more reason to make my vlog shorter. But yeah, like I said, my period has been crazy, crazy heavy. So the reason why I wanted to bring that up is because I didn't really have it. I'm going to hold on to the chair next to me because it was a dumb call on a yoga ball. It didn't dawn on me that, I got my period slightly before the surgery. So when I did, I was like, yay, like get it out now so I don't have to deal with it down the road. Because you don't want to like be in a hospital bed and have to even think about your menstruation when you're healing from surgery. But yeah, it's heavier than, way heavier than normal, to the point that I actually got concerned, and I asked the nurse when she came, whatever day she came, like, about how concerned you need to be concerned to do something about it. Like, how much blood loss is too much blood loss. So, yeah, I won't go into numbers, but it's the heaviest period I've ever had. And periods just become less normal, I guess, as you get older, not just because of duration, but because of how they are. I mean, I'll be flat out with you, because whatever, by the time I start dating, it'll be a couple of years from now anyway, and I won't be having my periods anymore. So what I'll say is that that you can go, like, I don't know, 3/4 of a day without bleeding at all, and then you can all of a sudden bleed so much that you're bleeding through like 3 pads in like an hour, which is a ridiculous amount of blood loss in your body. And it's not like it hurts. Like, I fortunately, never really had cramps or any of that stuff. Obviously, when I was in labor, I did, but not as like a regular part of my cycle. So it doesn't hurt, but yeah, how much is too much? I feel like there is no too much when it comes to me. I don't know. Believe it or not, like I said, there's plenty of things that I don't totally share with all of you. But you also start to pass blood clots, and those are like these rogue slugs that just decide to leave your body, and you don't really know where they're gonna go. And that's kind of how periods are, at least for me, when I get to the point of perimenopause. Hooray for me. I know there is a light at the end of the tunnel, because it lasts on average, I think, like 7 years or something. So I'm hoping to God that it's over in a couple of years. And maybe with the cancer and stuff, maybe this is a way for my body to just let everything just like shoo out and have it be finished before, you know, kind of expedite the process along. I don't know. So signs of excess blood loss. Again, I talked to the nurse about when I should be concerned. I haven't been dizzy at all. I've been pushing fluids, because you want to make sure that you push fluids because of all the stuff that you're losing in your body. You know, I am on Bayer for my FMD, so of course that makes you bleed more. Or, yeah, I think it just increases your, I don't know if it increases your blood flow. Just for me, it makes your blood flow more easily. But anytime I've ever had, like, I had a dental implant, and they said, you know, make sure that you're off the Bayer for a week. When I had the mastectomy, they said, make sure you're off the Bayer for the week, because you could end up bleeding more than a typical person would just because you're on Bayer, because it's a blood thinner. So maybe that's part of it. I don't know. But like I said, it doesn't hurt. It's just extraordinarily inconvenient, because you go to the bathroom and you think you're all good, and then you go outside or whatever, and you go sit in a chair, and then it's like, and you're like, crap, and you get up, and it's like, and then you go to the bathroom, and you think you're good, and then you come out, and then you go sit down to have a snack, and then it's like, and then you get up because you go to the bathroom, and it's like, and then you go to the bathroom, and it's over and over and over and over again, until eventually at some point it just stops happening. And welcome to being a woman. Yeah. So, like I said, I haven't been dizzy, been pushing fluids, been pushing electrolytes. I ate a roast beef sandwich yesterday. I try not to eat a lot of red meat anymore. And I am intentionally going to be ordering a steak tonight to make sure that my iron is up, and plus it's a nice treat, because today is Barb's last day here. So I am on my own tomorrow with nobody here. I'll put my big girl pants on and figure stuff out. I'm okay though. So yeah, I mean, unless like you're really dizzy, or, you know, all that blood loss could cause you to become anemic, I don't think that that's really a concern for me. I truly don't. It's just a matter of waiting it out until it's over. But just restrict what you can do during the day, because you're kind of chained to being near a bathroom, which blows. So today, because it's the last day before Barb leaves, I'm like, we have to get done A, B, and C. And what adds to that is the fact that, as I've mentioned, my son's birthday, I gotta make sure that I have things in place for that, because I just love birthdays. So for me, that meant getting a cake. I was going to bake one, but who am I kidding? I'm a T-Rex. T-Rexes can't bake cakes. I don't want to give any spoilers in case he watches. Well, actually, I won't probably put this up until after he's actually eaten the cake. So, yeah, got a cake for him. There's, if you're in the area, by the way, there is a fantastic bakery. I think there's 2 of them. It's a chain. It's called Twist. Twist Bakery sells baked goods and other, like they do breakfast and lunch and stuff like that. But their main thing is that they do not include like the top 9 allergens in all of their foods, which, like, to see your kid have a cake pop, knowing that it's safe to eat it, is some extraordinary experience. And that's their shtick. I would rather pay for an overpriced cake that I know it's safe for my kid to eat. I mean, I'm a good baker. I'm not a good cook, really. Certain things I cook well. But I just don't have the ability to bake right now. So anyway, so I had ordered the cake, and the big trips today, how exciting is my life? The big trips today were to go out to my storage unit to get all the birthday decorations. I can't hang them, but Barb can help me hang them, or Barb can hang them for me. That way when he comes home from his dad's, like, you know, his whole place is all done up. Oh, I have to order balloons. Remind me, order balloons. You're going to remind me. You're going to remind me in like June. And I'll be like, wait, what? So the main things today were to go out to the storage unit, to get the birthday decorations, and then to go pick up the cake. I did have meds I needed to pick up at the pharmacy. And I thought on my final list of things for the day would be to pick out a birthday card. Seems like it's not such a hard thing to do. So I got up and I slept okay last night. I didn't sleep long. I slept like 5 hours. The Tiger Balm is awesome for my back. I wish I would have thought of doing that earlier, but it's awesome. I slathered it on your back. Just make sure if you use Tiger Balm that it's totally off your hands before you touch any other parts of you, because then those parts will become numb too. And depending on what you touch, that could be not fun experience. So just heads up. I thought I cleaned my hands well enough, but apparently I didn't. I'm all good now. So yeah, I got up and then I ordered, I got a Grubhub gift card from people at work. And I got breakfast for the 2 of us because it's our last, well, not really, our second to last breakfast together. But then we timed out when we were going to do stuff to make sure that I wouldn't be super exhausted, like, you know, running errands and stuff. Running errands. Run in air quotes. So ordered the Grubhub and walked out to my storage unit. Surprisingly, pretty easily found the birthday decorations. And went to walk back, and it's not very far to walk to my storage unit, but I was feeling good enough, and I'm like, you know what? Let's go the long way around, because I had energy at that point to do that. All I had eaten at that point was a banana. Fun fact, exciting too, I am no longer on antibiotics. It's been I've hit the 2-week point of being home from the hospital. So the 14 days of medication after surgery is now done. I'd go whoop whoop, but this is as high as my whoop whoop can go because I have T-Rex arms. So yeah, no more antibiotics, no more severe pain meds. I did take Tylenol earlier today, but before that, it was, I think, about 12 hours that I had taken the Tylenol. So the Oxy, I have 1 sitting there and that's it. I was on gabapentin for muscle spasms. That was over yesterday, so we'll see what happens with that. But all the extra medication that I had to take for the mastectomy is now over. So I'm back to like my normal life and my normal eating schedule as of dinner time today. Yeah, so I don't have to like wake up at weird times just to be able to get my, meals in at different times to fit the medication schedule. So anyway, came back from walking, and I have a goals fitness app or whatever, and I've been logging or keeping track of how far I'm walking every day, hoping that my speed increases and that my duration increases. And I think it said I had like an 81 minute per mile rate, which is pathetic. Oh God, that's bad. But whatever. I still made it around, and I had the energy to like keep going even when we were at the door, to be able to walk around the other way. So that was really exciting. Walked up the stairs. I had stuff in my hands. I didn't hold on to the railings. Go me. Wasn't winded when I got to the top of the stairs. I'm like, yeah, I don't feel bloated at all. So all that distension, maybe it was just my period just waiting to come out. I don't think that's all that it was, but that certainly was part of it because I'm not fat today. I am back to wearing my pink bra. Yeah. That's something interesting. So last night also was the first night I slept without a bra on. I put on my regular PJs, like my pretty PJs, and I just pulled them up. My shirt, it's not a button down. I pulled from the bottom up, like, through my legs. The thing I noticed, and it's black, so like I still have purple markings where my scars are, or where the stitches are. I'm going to shower today too. Again, I can't rub anything. Like, it comes off as it comes off when I shower, and it just is what it is. But in the morning when I woke up and I just touched them because I'm still trying to do that, skin to skin thing to make connections. I can feel them like I can't move that. Well, I guess I could. If I go like that, like I can totally feel the implant. It's so weird. The implant is above my pectoral muscle. I know it's a choice as to whether you go above or beneath. My plastic surgeon chose to go above. That's mostly an issue of what it looks like as you move. There's more distortion if you go underneath the muscle than if you go above the muscle. I should say it's a different kind of distortion, but more visually appealing if you go above the pectoral muscle. So my boobs will be visually appealing in many ways, and spectacular, and what other adjectives he used after. So anyway, I walked up the stairs. I was feeling good. I know I lost my train of thought in there someplace. Pajamas. So when I woke up, I wasn't sure how I was going to feel because it was the first time that I had slept without a bra on. And I touched here and I noticed that it was like spiky, and I'm like, spiky. And I forgot. Stitches. The stitches were poking through my shirt. It didn't hurt, and my shirt's like, wholly enough, I guess, the fabric, that it's not a big deal to have like teeny little micro holes in it. But yeah, I did notice that, and I guess I really haven't touched that line to feel the stitches before. I've touched the stitches on the sides of me where the tubes were, but never right on my boobs. So that kind of sensation was interesting, because I could feel it with my hand. And again, I'm trying to work on the mind over body, or mind connection, mind body connection, like mind over matter. I know I'm not supposed to have feeling in my breasts, but I'm damn gonna try whatever I can do so that I actually do. I will defy logic. So yeah, that was interesting with the shirt. So be careful the first time that you do that. I did, I think I mentioned that I did get some purple stain on the nice, pretty nude bra that someone had got for me. I think it's going to wash right out, but I was just annoyed that I got purple on it. But yeah, thing to note, if you're sleeping for the first time or just having a regular shirt on for the first time and you don't wear a bra, that if you still have stitches, they could poke through. Those stitches are pretty like tough. They're like plastic. I don't know what they're made out of. So anyway, where was I? So I was getting ready to go. So many things swimming in your head. I was up a lot too because I was menstruating. So again, as soon as I get out of bed, I'm like, oh, whatever, I shift funny, and it's like, whoa, go in the bathroom, take care of business, come back, go back in bed, and you're like, whoa, and it's just friggin' annoying. But yeah, so the plan was I ordered the cake, and the plan was for me to go pick up the cake while we were waiting for the Grubhub guy, or was that after? Whatever it was. Anyway, sorry, I'm all over the place. Maybe I am like woozy from blood loss. The point about the cake was it was after breakfast. So I was going on a full meal. That was the point I was trying to get to. went to Twist to pick up the cake, and it's not a far walk to get from the parking lot to the front door, but there was more people than I've been around. And it kind of weirded me out. Not so much because of COVID, just because I haven't been around that many humans. You know, you're in the hospital, everyone's spaced apart. I really haven't been anywhere outside of the apartment except for doctor's appointments. We did go out to dinner the one time, but I mean, I'm nowhere near being able to drive, that's for sure. But we walked straight to the table, and the table isn't super far away. So we walked around, you know, the tables that were outside, and then I see the doors, and I'm like, God damn it. For handicapped people too, it's like there are not enough handicapped options for people getting around. Because I look at the door, and if I were on my own, I'd have to stand there like an idiot waiting for somebody to open the door, because the door is super tall and super heavy. It looks pretty, but it's not openable. And I'm looking left and right to see if there's a handicap button to be able to open the door, and there's not. It's amazing how many places are not handicap accessible. And you're not just talking about ramps. It's a matter of like, you know, I can't use my arms. If I could open the door, but I'd be in pain for a while, and I wasn't going to do that because I knew I had things to do. So I'm just staring at the door like in defeat. Like, give me a break. You don't realize like little things like they just seem like they're not a big deal until you're not able to do what you normally do. Which is another thing I want to, you know, talk about a couple of things that happened with that today. So got to the door, and Barb opened the door for me. And then we go inside, there's a line of like 3 people. And I'm like, I'm already stuffy. I don't want to be there. I just want to go home, which is not me. Like I'm a total extrovert. So for me to not want to be around people and to go home is not like me at all. And again, it had nothing to do with the pandemic. I felt safe that way. It was just like people and having to make decisions around people, even knowing like when to move up in line behind someone. I haven't done those kind of normal things in weeks. And it seems like the past 2 weeks happened like in a day. And it also feels like it happened like forever ago, that I don't remember how to act when you're standing on a friggin' line waiting to pick up a cake. So we're standing there, and I'm just realizing how stuffy I'm getting, and I have a mask on, so that's not helping with the stuffiness. I'm not going to take it off. But I just noticed I start getting kind of lightheaded. I think mostly because of the environment, and I'm leaning against the wall, and then I'm leaning against the counter, like waiting my turn. And I go up there and tell them I'm picking up the cake. They have me look at the cake. The chick can't figure out how to use a box cutter to open up the label. And I'm like, oh my God. They don't have these kind of classes in school, which they really should. Like, people should know how to use a box cutter before they graduate high school. And she's just destroying this pretty little sticker. And I'm like, oh my God, take the tape off of the box cutter that was there from before and just go, eat. Ugh. And then all is good. And then she's like, oh, just swipe your card. Just swipe your card. Well, I switched purses, so my purse is not so heavy. All I have in there is my wallet, a pad because of inflow, and my phone. So I can get my card out, but the just swipe your card thing is not at a level that would be handicap accessible. And right now my arms are a tad handicapped. So she's like, just swipe the card. I'm like, I can't reach up there to swipe the card. And I'm not saying this out loud because, like, I don't want to make it a big deal, but I'm just standing there with the freaking card in my hand. Like, why can't they just use Apple Pay or something? Or why can't they just scan something? I can't reach to scan the stupid freaking card. So I go on my tippy toes and I scanned it, praying that it would work the first time, which it did, and it was uncomfortable. I'm like, something so simple like scanning your card. I'm like, and I can't friggin' do that. I can't open the door. I can't scan the card. And then the cake is so pretty. They put it in a bag. And I'm like, I can't carry the bag because I'm pretty sure that the cake is more than 5 pounds. Well, and I got candles. Not that they're super big candles, but whatever. I had to focus on like getting out of there without falling. And getting out that same door that probably weighed 8,000 pounds. So I was just annoyed, and then, you know, left with the cake. I was happy, grateful that I live near a bakery that, you know, does not have all the top 9 allergens, whatever. So I know that, you know, he can eat the cake safely. And then we go to the car, and I'm just looking at the car, and I'm just like, how many more steps to the car? How many more steps to the car? How many more steps to the car? And the place I have to pick up my meds is literally across the street. And I'm like, that seems like so far away to have to do with that right now. But my focus right now is get into the car, get into the car. So I'm walking like an 85-year-old person to the car. And ironically, I wanted to wait because there was probably like an 80-ish old woman in the car next to ours. And she was backing out, and I needed her to back out so I had space to get in the car. So I'm waiting for her. Oh my, it's like slow-mo of life. So she finally leaves, and I get in the car, and I'm freaking exhausted. Totally exhausted. And I'm like, all I did was go pick up a cake. And in theory, I didn't even really pick up, or not in theory. In theory, I picked up the cake. Like literally, I didn't physically pick up the cake because I couldn't. And I'm exhausted. And I know that I still want to go to pick up a card for my son. And I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do that. There's still like curbside pickup for my meds, so I don't have to get out of the car to do that. And my friend, oh, that's the sticker. My friend is a pharmacist, and I assume that she watched the vlog. Because when we later came home and opened up the med, it's a med that I normally take, whatever, but this was in it. And I remember the sticker is it's like the little mascot, whatever. And I'm like, what are these? They're the tops for medicine bottles that you don't have to press and twist. You just like flick them off with your finger. The non-child-proof lids is what adults would call them. And she gave me 2 of these in the bag. And I texted her before and asked if she was working, because I'm like, oh, I'll get to see her. And she's always so smiley and happy. And I couldn't. I couldn't even. Barbara went in and she said, well, FaceTime, so you can look at the cards. You can pick one out that way. And I'm like, thank God for technology. But Jesus, I just wanted to pick out a freaking card for my son. And I said, I can't stay in the regular parking garage because there's no service, and then I won't be able to FaceTime you to pick out the card. So I asked her to park on the second floor of parking, which doesn't have it's open on top. And then like I started feeling like icky and put the air on and open the window. Of course, it starts raining out, and it just gets all sticky out. And I'm like, I just don't feel good. And I wanted to go inside and say hi to her, but I just did not have the energy. And I told her, like, she said, yeah, I'm working, whatever, can't wait to see you. And I'm like, no, can't make it in. I have a really awesome Instagram post. My Instagram account's private, so don't try to look for it. Where I'm like, it's just super annoyed. Because I'm like, I can't even take a selfie because my arm can only go this high. And everyone knows you're supposed to hold the camera higher than what you do so that you look skinnier. You know, if you hold it lower, you're like, argh. I couldn't even go in to see her. Like her, I wanted to see. The 20 people that were at the bakery, I didn't need to see. But it made me happy that I got this out of it. And that she cares. Or maybe she just did that just because whether she watched or not. Ow. Whether she watched or not, like, these are super practical. Added to the list of things you didn't know that you needed was flip-off things for pills. Unless you have little ones at home. My shoulder blade is like crazy itchy right now. So, hold on. Ow. Ow. So it was a production to do the cards, like she said. So how to pick out a card for your child for their birthday when you can't walk in the store. Barb goes in, takes a picture of the card section. So I'm blowing it up and I'm looking at all the individual cards because I like getting funny cards. And I like to get personalized cards. But then I'm like, what does this one say on the inside? Blah. So you just end up FaceTiming and looking. It's just such a damn production. I'm like, all I wanted to do was get a cake and get a card. And it's just such a pain in the ass that it's such a production. And I figured out how to do my hair. I can't comb it still or brush it. I asked Bart to brush it. But if you put your head between your knees, like in the crash position, like in an airplane, that's the way that you can manage to put your hair in a little bun scrunchie in the back. So I learned that. So my hair looks, my grays are coming in, but whatever. I learned to do that. I even put eyeliner on, and I have this stuff that you can use as lip gloss and as blush, which is convenient. Although while you're wearing a mask, it doesn't really matter. But I wanted to wear that just like for me. But I didn't see anyone that I wanted to see that it would have mattered. And I don't look super fat today. So I'm like, I want to go out and have people see me, not look like I rolled out of bed and whatever. But I didn't, so whatever. So eventually found a pretty funny card. That's very apropos for him. And then went home. And then I'm like, I'm freaking exhausted. I had to hold on to the railing to walk up the stairs, walked crazy, crazy slow, and then watched an hour and a half or whatever of Monsters University. And then whatever the rest of the day will bring. But I'm just beat. And I'm sure a huge factor inside of all that, like overall pain-wise, I feel so much better. And it's crazy that it's been 2 weeks. Like, it's a Sunday, but it was 2 weeks yesterday that I came home from the hospital. I had to take a second antibiotic. I'm not even still quite sure why, but whatever. The antibiotics didn't even like do anything to my stomach, which was a pleasant surprise because usually they bother my stomach. Yeah, so there was something with the antibiotic, which is why it's Sunday and I was still on it today, but I'm totally off all those meds now. But the ant flow part, like, uteruses are great. Uteruses? Uteri? I don't know. What's the plural of uterus? Alexa, what's the plural of uterus? It is uteri. Oh, wow. Like octopi? Uteri. So all of you out there that have uteri, they are awesome because they give us things like children. And I would never, ever, ever, like, I'm eternally grateful for my uterus for giving me my children, allowing me to carry my children. Right now, my uterus has had her time. I'm not having a hysterectomy tomorrow, but the point is, I don't need her anymore, and she's causing a bit of chaos. We'll deal with that down the road, but for right now, it just kind of sucks. It's just one more layer added on. And I know that men can get breast cancer too, and I mean, men have prostates, and that causes their own issues also. But speaking from a female perspective, some days it's great to have a uterus. Some days you'll get pissed off that they have a uterus. And some days you just want to like take your uterus and take a turkey baster and go and just pull it through your vagina and just throw it out in the trash. Today's one of those latter descriptions. And maybe actually the weirdness about sitting on the yoga ball, if I bounce, well, I don't want to bounce because I'm not bouncing these chickies, but if you bounce enough, maybe it will make things move faster so that your period's over faster. But that would be a lot of blood loss in a short amount of time, which is probably not the safest thing to do. Yeah. But it's just not a fun day to be a woman, and kind of frustrating when, you know, you're just used to being like this powerhouse person and people tell you, you know, you're so strong, blah, 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 which I know that I am, but it's also nice on days to not be strong, and it also sucks on days when your body tells you to stop trying to be strong and just take a break, which I get, and I respect my body for that, and it's a life lesson that I'm learning from this whole process. But when you add in the uterus to the whole, you know, debacle of having breast cancer, it just kicks it up a different kind of notch. So I wanted to share that. Timing wise, you know, I was probably getting a period at some point while I'm doing these vlogs, and here we are. So praying that it's done doing its thing, which I think is starting to slow down. The next frustration is I'm looking at a big bin of birthday decorations, and I know I can't go on a chair to hang them all up like I used to. I'm going to do the best that I can. And know that my son loves me no matter what. And even if I have to celebrate his birthday by hanging stuff up on his half birthday, when my arms are not T-Rex arms anymore, then I will do that. But for now, I'll do the best that I can. And then have a nice medium rare filet mignon for dinner. both as a treat and to get my iron levels back up again. I'm sure there are other ways. I'm curious what vegetarians do. Like, what do vegetarians do when they are low on iron? Eat a lot of spinach? But then if you're a vegetarian who's also had a kidney stone, you can't have a lot of spinach. So I guess I'd be curious to know that. One thing I asked too is, like, I noticed a couple of people have been liking the videos, but I have a lot of private back and forth, like people commenting about stuff separately to me. I would like these to be a bit more interactive. I look at my analytics and I see, like, you know, overall who's watching where, and it's very intriguing. I find the analytics like super cool. I don't want to have the people that put links in there that are just spam and make me have to do extra work by going in there and getting rid of them, because I don't want viruses and stuff on there, nor do I want links to, like, you know, pornographic sites or whatever on my page. I think I've put enough settings in there and gotten rid of all that stuff that's taken care of now, but way to pain in the neck in YouTube land to have to deal with that. But the interactiveness, I'd like it to be a productive, related interactiveness about these vlogs and people's experiences and stuff. So please like and share. And again, it's just about informing other people about what's, you know, what your experience is. And if you know someone who's having a mastectomy coming up, you know, you might want to actually go out. This is a weird kind of gift, but you might want to go out and get like super duper heavy pads, because when it could not happen to everyone. It just happened to me. But it could never hurt to have ginormo size pads. They also sell these things, which I didn't know about. Someone else picked them up, that are like, you know, like those blue, like when you're in the hospital and they have those blue things. Well, even if you're not in the hospital and you go to the gynecologist, they have those blue things that they put down so that way if things leak of some sort, it will soak it up and not like ruin what's underneath it. They have those. So those are super handy. Kind of embarrassing to buy, but super practical. So I think that's all I'm going to do, because I need to hydrate and I need to relax and I need to get a little bit more caught up with these vlogs, because I'm like 5 days behind at this point. But God bless you all that have uteri. Well, I guess if you have 2 uteri, that would be interesting. But for all you women and your uteri out there, I salute you, because they are great. And then sometimes they're not. And for all you men, I salute you and your prostates, because again, those could be awesome. And then sometimes they're not. So this is the flow of being a human being. Or I guess an animal too, because they have them too. I digress. See you tomorrow, everyone.